What could someone have done to help you?
Well, okay, well, I don't know because there's such a I'm trying to figure out how to it's almost like I'm gonna say this as bluntly as possible. Like, shut up because you didn't carry a baby, guy. You know, that's
Really?
what the narrative is
I was
behind. It's
like,
like, hey,
that's
you didn't go through any of this, so you don't get to have your world rocked in that way. You might be okay to have it changed in some ways, but you
mm,
didn't carry, your feet didn't swell, like all the things, and society doesn't help because
no.
it just has a very skewed view of that.
Mm,
But for a father like me, who was very, very excited
and
about and
involved.
involved, I didn't carry the babies at all, of course, and I didn't feel the things, and my body didn't go through the changes that yours had to go through to
Mhm.
accommodate that. But emotionally, I was dialed in on a lot of that stuff, and
Yes.
and I think what I was feeling was my own anxieties and fears about how life would change. I remember before Gabriel came, a lot of my male friends who had kids would say, "Oh, everything's going to change," and to be told for a couple years even before we were expecting, but definitely in that time, everything's going to change. Oh, this is going to change. You won't matter anymore. I remember several friends said, "Yeah, you're not going to even matter. Like you're not going to matter. You're not important. It'll be the baby, then your wife. Like you're not even going to matter." And so it's like you walk into having being a new dad, feeling like anything that you need or want is automatic selfishness. Selfishness. It's
Wow.
automatically you are being so rude. She had a baby, and that's a baby. So you fall way down on this on the totem pole of needs being met.
Hmm.
So all of a sudden, you go from feeling like I'm a valuable part of this house to being very much a back burner part. And don't you dare mention it because you didn't have to have a baby and you're not a baby.
Hmm.
And so what do you do with that? You still need some sort of outlet, escape, some friend, something,
Mhm.
and without that, I mean, I ate a lot. I mean, I stopped working out because I couldn't go to the gym anymore because I'm not going to wake up at 5 a.m. and leave you and do that. So no
Ooh.
more working out. And I used to work out every day, and so it was like, I'm not working out. I don't have time to run. I can't do this because that's going to be too loud. Can't really play music during the day because I don't want to wake him up. So everything about who I was and who I understood myself to be shifted. And then add on the guilt of, okay, paternity leave in the US,
Three
first of all,
weeks.
no leave is good in the US. So let's just put that out there. But paternity leave in comparison to maternity leave is vastly different. And so
Yeah.
I think I got a couple weeks,
Three
maybe
weeks.
3 weeks. And now my company has way more than that. But it's like, hey, father, just be there, make sure she's comfortable, has some pillows, and then get back to work.
Mm.
And so I'm leaving my bride who just underwent this incredible experience.
Yeah, because after 3 weeks, I still couldn't lift
Still
anything
couldn't lift
heavy
anything, yeah.
because I
And
had had a
so, like,
C-section.
then it's like, okay, can someone come and stay with her? Either way, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go to the office with adults, and I'm not gonna have to do a diaper or do it, and I'm gonna eat whatever I wanna eat lunch-wise, and I'll be back this evening to check on you. And the feeling of guilt and selfishness that, like, creeps in and makes you feel like, not to mention that I'm going to work and trying to be present and effective in my job, but looking at my phone to make sure you're okay, make
Wow.
sure the baby's okay. And so it's not, I didn't go through what you went through. I went through my own version of something else that I do believe is way smaller in scale, but was very real for me
Of
and very real
course.
for, I think, for a lot of guys. And so I think in that season, I wish that more guys had been more upfront with that reality. I had a couple, one in particular, that's very astute of him to say, this is going to be really hard. And the greatest thing you can do is to communicate with Janice every time it gets hard.